Welcome back, monetizers. Mariah Monetize here, and today I am going to be giving you 5 simple things that you should know about Bitcoin. These are simple, these are basic. If you're familiar with Bitcoin, you already might know some of these or all of these, but today I am going to be telling you the 5 main things that you should know about Bitcoin. This should answer a lot of your simple baseline questions about the cryptocurrency. I bought my first Bitcoin back in 2015. It feels like forever ago, in the $300 range. And so I am very passionate about Bitcoin. I've stuck with Bitcoin since then, and I'm excited to be sharing these things with you. I think it's important to have somewhat of an understanding of an asset that you're going to invest in before you decide to make that commitment and that investment. But I also think it's important to realize that you may invest in things, and it's sometimes okay to invest in things or buy certain assets if you don't understand it fully and completely. I would say this in particularly when you think of things like a computer. You don't understand exactly how a computer works. You don't understand the inside of it, the memory, the RAM, all of those logistics, but you still purchase a computer because you get the overall gist of it. Same thing when it comes to a car. You probably don't understand how all the mechanisms work in a vehicle, but you trust the fact that it will gas when you touch the gas pedal and brake when you press the brake pedal. So here are the 5 basic things that you should know about Bitcoin. The first thing is, it is both, in my opinion, a currency and a store of value. Some people have different opinions on this, but for me, I believe we are in a point in Bitcoin where it can ultimately go in either direction, and I truly believe that the market's going to decide. So what does that mean? A currency is like the US dollar, which is fiat currency. That's something that we spend every day. We spend it to buy a coffee, we spend it to purchase a home, from the small purchases to the big purchases and everything in between. When you think of a store of value, think of gold for an example, or precious metals. These are things that people store their money into, hoping that they do not lose value over time. For example, because of inflation and the Fed's constantly printing US dollars. So in this case, we're in a scenario because Bitcoin is so new that we can ultimately go in either directions. Bitcoin can be used as a currency someday, and it actually is being used as a currency today. You can go places and use your Bitcoin to purchase a coffee. You can purchase a home with a Bitcoin. It's just not as common, and not as many retailers accept Bitcoin as they do the US dollar. Bitcoin can ultimately be used over time as a store of value. It could be dominantly used as one or both. Time will tell, and the market will decide. In my personal scenario, I do not use Bitcoin as a currency. I typically don't spend my Bitcoin because for me, I use it more as a store of value. That may change over time, but with the current infrastructure that we have, that is how I personally choose to use my Bitcoin. The second thing that you should know about Bitcoin is that it is decentralized. What does decentralized mean? Think of it in terms of this. There is no CEO of Bitcoin. There is no Bitcoin headquarters in some big city. You cannot go to one specific location or one specific person and actually make an attack on Bitcoin or shut Bitcoin down or kill Bitcoin. With the servers and the miners that mine Bitcoin, they are spread all throughout the world in all countries, and so there cannot be a centralized attack on Bitcoin. What makes that so special? Someone can't go and shut Bitcoin down. A certain person, a government official, there is no central point of attack with Bitcoin. So that's what makes it super special and super unique. Number 3, your Bitcoin is only yours if you specifically own those private keys. What exactly does that mean? If you are storing your Bitcoin on an exchange, technically that Bitcoin is not yours. You do not have full control over the Bitcoin. So what I would highly recommend, and we'll get into this later, is storing your Bitcoin on something like a hard wallet. This is considered cold storage. And I personally use a Ledger Nano S. And so, like I said, I'll get into those things later, but your private keys make you the one and only owner of your specific Bitcoin. So if the exchange shuts down, you are out of luck. You do not have control over your Bitcoin. But if you have your Bitcoin stored on a hard wallet, that puts you in complete control of your Bitcoin. The number 4 thing that you should know about Bitcoin is that there is a set supply. What does that mean? There are 21 Bitcoins that are going to be created in total. I believe currently we are in the $19 million range. There will be no more and there will be no less. Technically, some people say less because of the simple fact that a lot of people have lost access to their Bitcoins, and once you lose access, those Bitcoins are gone forever. And so with the fixed supply, we know that Bitcoin has a high probability of increasing over time. That $1 always remains $1, and the buying power typically declines over time. And that is simply because of the fact that the Fed continues to print US dollars over and over and at a very, very high rate, which can over time make it very scary for people that have a lot of money stored in fiat currency, in the US dollar, because they don't know exactly what it's going to be worth over time. With Bitcoin having a set supply, that gives us more certainty. We have a fixed number. We know there will be no more than 21 million Bitcoins. And when you think of the simple fact there are between 7 and 8 billion people in the world, that's pretty crazy, because that's less than 1 Bitcoin per person. A lot less than 1 Bitcoin per person. The number 5 thing that you should know about Bitcoin, and this is simply something that is one of the biggest misconceptions. This is something that I typically get asked immediately when someone is very unfamiliar with Bitcoin, and they want to know about the process. If you have 1 Bitcoin and you want to transition and you want to get that into US dollars. So the transition process is very, very simple, and I have done this countless times, and it has been a flawless transaction. So what happens is, you want to sell a Bitcoin. You could sell part of a Bitcoin, you could sell all of your Bitcoin. For me, I simply go to Coinbase.com, and I actually particularly use Coinbase Pro, so the fees are quite a bit less. What I do is I put my Bitcoin up for sale, and I could sell it at the exact asking price, or I could set it at a price a bit higher. And immediately, it is sold, and I have US dollar balance in my account. Now, the transition from getting that US dollars into my bank account is a 3 to 5 day process. It's typically pretty quick, but I have had 0 issues with this transition from Bitcoin over getting it into US dollars. It's easy, it's fast, it's simple, and I have consistently always received my US dollars. The reason why I make that transition is because sometimes I want to buy something, sometimes I want to take some money out of cryptocurrency and put it into another investment. Every scenario is different. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. And I am so excited that you're here and that you're having the opportunity to learn about the amazing world of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Our future is bright, and I am overwhelmingly excited, and that's why I want to share this information with you. So, that's all I have for you today. As always, go out there and create a portfolio that you love.